Hey, welcome back for classical guitar video number 4. Today we're going to be dealing mostly with left hand stuff. Videos 1 through 3, we talked a lot about what's going on with the right hand in classical playing. Today we're going to start talking about the left hand, specifically position playing and the notes and position 1 on the guitar. So really quickly, let's define what makes a position. A position is just wherever your left hand is going to be. It's going to be your 4 fingers consecutively placed in frets. So index, middle, ring, and pinky. Fingers 1, 2, 3, and 4, each in adjacent frets, not sharing any frets and not skipping any frets. And then wherever your index finger is, that's going to indicate what position you're in. And for these purposes, we're just going to be talking about position number 1, almost exclusively. But just for the illustration, if we moved up here, index finger was in the 5th fret, this would be 5th position. Let's go back to 1st position really quickly. So we're going to talk about the note names for each of the whole notes, the alphabetical notes in 1st position. Okay, not dealing with any sharps or any flats. These are all in the key of C. These are just the normal notes. So first thing that we need to do is we need to review the note names of each of the open strings. That's going to help a lot. And going from high to low, those are E, B, G, D, A, and E. I'm going to stick a visual up on the screen, and if you look at the right side of that, those are listed at the top of that right side visual. And so if you look at that left visual, we're going to be dealing with all the open strings you can see, and then it indicates some other places to stick your fingers. So go through and get familiar with that really quickly. If you sort of played through it from high to low in order, it would sound like this. And so those are all of the notes that we're going to be dealing with, all of the open strings, and then those notes on each string. And we want to be familiar with naming each of those note names. So let's start with our highest string, E. So we know that the open one is E. And if you look in that right side visual again, if you stick your index finger down, just like the left side indicates, we're going to be using that note, we know, and that's going to be an F. The note following that is going to be a G, just like that left side indicates. Now, there is a note in between. That's an F sharp or a G flat, but we're not dealing with that at all right now. We're dealing with just the notes that don't have any sharps or any flats. So E, F, and G, all in 1st position right here on the 1st string. And the easiest way to think about this for me is just very alphabetically. We know that in the alphabet, after E comes F, after F comes G, and the musical alphabet, remember that there's nothing past G, it's just A through G. So our next note would actually be up here, an A, but we're not going to deal with that again. And then moving down to B, we know that open 2nd string is B, and then alphabetically the next note is A, B, C. We know that this is going to be C based on both of these diagrams, and then we know that this is going to be D, so A, B, C, D, very alphabetical, and the way that we're ordering all of these things. G, the end of our musical alphabet, then goes to A, D going to E and F, A, open A string, A, B, C, and then E, again going to F and G. For me, the best way to get familiar with these is just to go through each string and say those note names out loud, just like this. E, F, G, and really put your fingers down and play those. And play them in whatever order, backwards, forwards, make up interesting patterns with them until you start to feel familiar and you can get away from these diagrams and not have to look and know that A goes to, or G goes to A, my apologies, and that A goes to B, goes to C, goes to D, and then E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So if you go from low to high, it's a very normal alphabetical pattern, going from A to G, and then repeating back on itself again. So just play with that and get familiar.